Hello you guys and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about boundaries. So I have been seeing a lot of videos generally throughout the years about, if you're a beautiful woman, you should set strong boundaries. You should learn to be a bitch. You should learn to become a very, very mean person and you should learn to talk back. Like basically about boundaries. You have to have really, really strong boundaries. And here's the thing, as much as I agree generally with the premises of these videos, I do agree with the general message of these videos, 100%. However, I kind of want to take it a little bit further and I want to extend this message. I want to look a little bit deeper. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So, being good looking is just a little tiny part of it. Listen, there will always be people who will be jealous of whatever it is about you, right? There will always be people around you, or, there will always be people who are jealous of your looks, who are jealous of your career, jealous of your friendships, of your relationships, of whatever it is, of your family. Doesn't really matter, right? That's irrelevant. The problem with these specific videos is that every single time I see beautiful women talk about these topics, I see a lot of people trying to humble them in the comments, kind of proving their point. There are lots of people usually in the comments saying that, it's usually men as well, talking about like, well, you think you are attractive? Who told you are conventionally attractive? Who told you you're hot to begin with? And once again, I do believe that this is proving their point. These men are proving the point of the women in the videos. However, if we're talking about real life situations when you are in society, you are in a social situation, this truly goes beyond your look. Let's talk about that instead. Because if you are hot and dumb, nobody really cares that much, to be honest with you. Yes, there will always be people who are jealous of your looks, but they will not perceive you as a problem. They will not perceive you as a disruption to their life, to their systems. So that is kind of like proving the fact that like just looks are not enough. What is important is how you present yourself. You become a problem when you are taking care of yourself, when you are taking care of your looks, when you're taking care of your mind, of your spirit, your education, your career, your relationships, whatever it is, your self-growth. If you care about anything else, any kind of expansion in your life, especially if you're doing shadow work. Now, this is very important. I specifically wanted to talk in this video about shadow work because if you do shadow work, you become aware of your shadow. When you become aware of your shadow, you automatically become aware of other people's shadows as well, to a certain extent, definitely. You become a lot more aware of people's manipulation. Now, once you become aware of people's manipulation, it becomes significantly harder for them to project their insecurities onto you. It also becomes much harder for them to manipulate you. When that becomes the case, you become the problem because you become a disruption. Now, that, once again, doesn't have to do anything with your looks because that is a very superficial take, I believe. These kind of takes get a lot of views. However, it truly lies beyond that. It's a lot more than your looks. You can be a very, very good looking person, but if you do not know how to carry yourself, you can dampen those looks. You can truly downplay them by yourself. You do not need anyone else to do that for you. And in that case, nobody will even pay attention to you. And like truly nobody will even care. However, it is about you carrying yourself. You appear a lot more attractive when you know how to carry yourself, when you are confident, and when you do shadow work. That is an extra step that will take you a whole extra mile. Trust me. I do have a video on my channel about shadow work. However, I should make a new one because just like there's so much more to this topic and I really want to keep exploring it. Now back to the topic. So yes, looks are one thing. There will always be people who will try to humble you. There will always be people who will try to project. That is just normal. Also, it is not your job to educate people about this, to kind of like teach them how to behave, to give them therapy, or anything like that. I'm actually not suggesting you do any of those things. It's kind of about being aware of your surroundings and of what is happening around you socially. I have a video about being hot versus being good looking. And I make a strong case for being attractive and how to become more attractive, how to become more hot, regardless of your looks. Please check it out. I'll do my best not to forget to link that video down below. Please check it out. And there I make a very strong case about looks not really meaning all that much without you knowing how to carry yourself and without having any knowledge of yourself. Like, it doesn't really matter. What actually threatens people is your confidence. What actually triggers a lot of people is you knowing exactly who you are and not allowing them to project onto you and to manipulate you. When people see that you see through their bullshit, that becomes a problem. Because you become a problem. And that is precisely why you need to have strong boundaries. Yes, you do need strong boundaries. If you are a good-looking person, if you are a beautiful woman, you absolutely need strong boundaries. Because there will be people who try to humble you, and there will be people who will always try to be nasty and will try to bring you down. That is just the case. People who will try to make you feel weird, people who will try to be just shady for apparently no reason. However, you do need really strong boundaries if you are doing a lot of internal work. I feel like that knowledge will come to you automatically once you actually start doing a lot of self-development work, and it just becomes part of your life, and it just becomes part of who you are. If you're just genuinely interested in developing yourself as a person, in developing your personality and your character and your career, your relationships, how you feel as a person, like growing, expanding, that is the knowledge that will come to you, maybe not necessarily automatically, but you will get there eventually. You will understand. You will become very, very aware of like other people's behaviors and certain patterns that they present. So I strongly advocate for shadow work for that reason also. And that is why you will understand that you need to protect yourself. And strong boundaries are a very, very effective way of warding off people who do not mean any good, people who mean harm to you specifically. Now, when it comes to boundaries, it's very important for me to say that you set the boundaries for yourself. You do not set boundaries for other people. The boundaries are there for you to know your limits, so to say, for you to know exactly how other people can and cannot treat you. It's very, very, very important that you understand those limits, because there will always be people who try to push your boundaries and see how much you can take, how much bad behavior you can take, and how they can treat you. This is literally, like, I had one person one time tell me that they were trying to push my boundaries. That's a crazy I never honestly thought that anyone would like ever admit that. I kind of thought they would be done in a more manipulative way, but maybe it's a part of a manipulation, like a game. I'm also telling you straight away, the person was not treating me really right, and at that point I was already becoming a lot more secure and a lot more kind of confident and understanding a lot more about myself. I was definitely not allowing a lot of bad behaviors towards myself, and I clocked that. And that person quite literally told me, I was just testing your boundaries. That is a crazy thing to say for me, because also when someone is telling you this, it might appear as an attempt to become closer to you, an attempt of almost to become like more, almost like intimate with you in a way, because they're sharing something that they're not supposed to share, and it might trick you into thinking that they're being really like raw and honest with you, and I don't know, you will forgive them and like become close to them or something. I don't know. I strongly suggest you don't do that. I really strongly suggest you don't do that. Do not do that. It's not worth it. And it is also part of the game. It is also part of the manipulation. Like, you do not want to be with anyone who wants to manipulate you or who is even admitting that. It's not a virtue, admitting these things. Like, it's not a good thing. It's important that you understand that. Another thing when it comes to boundaries is that I feel like it's a huge misconception about boundaries in general, that you have to be harsh and you have to be rude to other people. And that's why I noticed a lot of people are kind of scared of even the word boundaries, because they feel like they have to be really mean to people around them, especially to the people they love, like to their relatives and family members, right? Or like co-workers or something like that. I think that those people do not understand the concept of boundaries, and that's okay. We're here to learn. You can set boundaries very gently. The point is that you have to be firm when you set boundaries. You cannot present it as a little joke. You cannot laugh it off. You cannot let people know that this is up for debate, that this is something funny, that this is something that even you are not sure about and you're just like, haha, don't do this to me. You have to make them see that you're being serious about this, and you do not have to be rude about this. If anything, I strongly suggest that you not be rude, because that's just, why would you do that? The thing is that if someone is crossing your boundaries really strongly and doing something that you absolutely do not permit, I think you have permission to be rude right back. If in fact it is an important skill to talk back, it's important to learn to talk back. It's especially applicable to people who were raised to people please and who were very timid growing up. It's important that you learn how to talk back. Nothing bad is going to happen if you learn to talk back. You're just going to protect yourself. You will ward off the bad, nasty people from you, and like your circle will improve. It probably will become significantly smaller. And honestly, that is okay. Do you really want to have a lot of people around you who are testing your boundaries and who like want to be casually mean to you and just like say their unfunny jokes to you? Like, is that what you want? I mean, I kind of doubt that. That is exactly why I'm saying that you should understand those limits for yourself. How do you want people to talk to you? Most importantly, how do you not want people to talk to you? You can kind of take your past relationships and your past friendships as like case studies for this, and see what people did to you in the past that you really didn't like. What would you not want to happen in the future? How do you not want people to treat you moving forward? And start to understand at which points you will tell people that this is not okay. But also, you do not have to give people literal manuals on how to treat you. Like, normal people would just not go around and like treat other people badly. But it's still important to understand what you personally are not okay with, right? And also, I feel like most importantly is that you should take mental notes and you should be ready to take action. Like, you have to understand that if someone's doing like X to you, right? You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to step back. You're allowed to not communicate with them anymore. You do not have to be friends with everybody. You don't owe access to everybody, or like a personal relationship with you. So that's also like not something that you should be feeling guilty about. Earlier on, last year, I made a whole series on expressing your emotions ethically and ecologically. I strongly recommend that you check out that playlist on my channel, watch those videos. I have a video about guilt, how to deal with guilt ethically and ecologically. How do you differentiate, imposed guilt and the cases when you actually did something that you are feeling guilty about? Like, how do you make that distinction and how do you deal with that? Because I give you examples and I tell you how to deal with kind of both cases. So please check it out. I think it's incredibly important for as many people as possible to understand that and to learn how to deal with these difficult, unpleasant, painful, and like really hard feelings, honestly, really difficult emotions. So basically, just a quick shortcut. Do check that video out though. But this is not something for you to feel guilty about, especially when you establish boundaries. When you let people know that this is not allowed and they keep crossing those boundaries, you are fully allowed to stop communicating with them. It's a lot more difficult, however, when it comes to like work relationships, when it comes to relationships with your relatives. This is something where you have to showcase a lot more grit, I feel like, and have to distance yourself from those people. You have to kind of like distance yourself emotionally from those people and obviously physically as much as possible. And in case you actually absolutely have to deal with those people, I think it's still incredibly important to let people know that certain behaviors and certain like words, whatever it is, are not okay with you. You're still allowed to do that no matter the case. All right. And if they push forward, you do not have to engage with them any further. You do not have to be rude about this once again, especially if these are the people you absolutely have to be around right now. I don't suggest that you kind of like let everything burn and like lose your job over things like this, because it really depends on your circumstances. Okay, learn to distance yourself emotionally at the very least. Okay, now when it comes to your friendships, and this is something that I absolutely do not understand and never understood, I'll be honest with you. When people talk about their own friends treating them poorly and making horrible jokes at their expense, pushing their boundaries and stuff like that, I just don't get that. Friends is the one group of people that you actually get to, well, friends and like your personal relationships. Those are the people that you personally choose to be around you. You do not have to grant everybody access to you. You do not have to be close friends with everybody. All the people that you know do not have to be your friends. To me, the word friend has always meant something very deeply personal. It always meant someone that I trust like a lot. There's a lot of trust in those kind of relationships. And there's a lot of like emotional intimacy, and there's a lot of understanding and support, and this is a very serious relationship. So those are the kind of people who are absolutely not supposed to be treating you poorly. These are the people that you can actually like handpick in your circle. And if they do not treat you accordingly, you do not have to be friends with them. I don't understand when people try to make excuses about that. Like, genuinely, please don't be friends with people who like hate you. Like there's no prize at the end of the day. You're not going to get any award for being a good person or like a friend to someone who dislikes you. You know what I mean? It also doesn't make you a good person. I just said that, like, what, you think that it makes you a good person? Allowing people to treat you poorly doesn't make you a good person. And that just means you allow bad people to display their behaviors and project their stuff onto you. Project their insecurities, project their, I don't know, project their traumas, project their fears onto you. Like, you do not get any reward for that. If anything, you only get the bad stuff from that. You only get like the drawbacks from that. There's like literally no benefits to that at all. All you get is more insecurities. You like get your insecurities reaffirmed to you because you keep hearing them all the time. Your circle has a huge impact on your confidence and like on your goals, on your career, on your relationships. So you kind of have to be selective. You have to be picky. That is a good thing. And you have to have really, really strong boundaries. I will keep talking about boundaries on this channel because it's one of the most important topics. And I have seen the impact of poor boundaries on people's mental health and on people's relationships. So, and like their own relationship with themselves. So please, please take care of yourself. Please do shadow work. Please, I'm begging you, learn yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to people around you also. Do not be rude unnecessarily. It's very important for me actually to keep reaffirming this, okay? To keep telling you about this. Please do not be rude to people needlessly, okay? People are also not always trying to hurt you on purpose, okay? Sometimes people genuinely talk about the stuff that they believe in and, project in a way that, they don't mean harm, but they just talk about the things that they personally believe in. And that doesn't mean you should take it personally. If anything, I suggest you do not take anything personally, but you take action. So please don't be mean, but please set boundaries. Because you eventually show people, you teach other people how to treat you. And the way you do that is by treating yourself well and by establishing boundaries. So anyways, I don't want this video to get too long. I've been talking for a while. I will keep talking about boundaries. If you have any other questions about this topic or any other topic, please let me know in the comments. What do you think about boundaries? Do you have strong boundaries? Do you allow people in your circles to make bad jokes at your expense? How do you feel about that? Do you want to change the situation? Let's talk about this in the comments. Anyways, you guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I truly, truly appreciate that. Please give me a like and please subscribe to my channel. It would mean a lot to me. Please support this channel. I'm really trying to grow and I want to make more videos for you. So thank you very much, you guys, and I will see you in the next one.